Yo, what is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for clicking on this and taking your time to watch us. But today, I wanted to have another cigar and espresso chats because I really enjoyed the last one I did, and I had this urge within me today to do it because it's a beautiful day out. Just got a bunch of stuff done, and I had a little bit of time to sit down and go over, life as a whole. Today's episode, I want to talk about playing the long game, because this is something that I am still trying to understand and still trying to perfect in my life. And that is understanding that it is more of the process that you have to enjoy. I believe I touched on the last one, but it is more of the process that you must enjoy within your life rather than looking at this end goal and glorifying it. And that's what I'm going to talk about in today's episode. So let's light this bad boy up and let's get into it. Don't really have any super nice cigars sitting around, so I have to go to the store and grab some. So this isn't really anything special. But playing the long game, it is so important to understand that every single day compounds to that goal that you have in your mind. This goal that you have, or these goals, can be a plethora of different things. But you have to understand that today's actions are going to make those results in the future. I always say, and this is that the actions you're taking right now consistently are going to be the results that you will experience in 3 to 4 months from now. So everything that is occurring in your life right now, everything you're experiencing, is most likely due to the actions and thoughts and habits that you have been putting in place consistently day after day for the past 3 to 4 months. So with this in mind, you have to understand that 3 to 4 months from now, you're going to see the results of what you're doing today. And some people may argue that it's a little bit of a larger time frame, like the actions that you're experiencing, the experience you're having right now comes from the actions and habits that you have taken in the past 2 years, 1 year, whatever it may be. But I like to speed it up because the way you view things really makes a difference in your life. And if you can change the way you view things and change your belief systems, you're going to experience a whole different reality, right? Perception is everything. And if you perceive the world in a certain way, you're going to experience it just as you perceive it. So if you can change your perception, change your beliefs, there's going to be a lot of changes within your life. So with perception and with belief change, you have to also change your actions and habits. But I want to get back on the topic of playing the long game. Personally, like I said at the beginning, I'm still working on this and I'm still trying to obtain the skill set, per se, of playing this game and understanding it as a long game, but also balancing it with the fact that you could pass away tomorrow. Your friends could pass away, whatever it may be. Life is short. You have to balance the long game with this view that, today is not to be taken for granted. So you have to, ultimately, what I believe is true, is you have to stay super consistent with the things that, if you were to stay consistent with, would benefit your life in 3 to 4 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. I was listening to a podcast the other day. It's called Rich Summers podcast, I believe. It's a very good podcast. He has some very good views, but he was saying he doesn't necessarily believe in long-term goals. And that is because as you level up along this life, your goals are going to shift. Your goals are going to change. And this is why I really play the day-by-day game and not so much in, what do I want in 5 years? I understand what I want to achieve in 5 years, but I do know that it is going to change and shift, because when I change and shift, my goals are going to change and shift. So ultimately, the things that have worked for me to play the long game and build consistent habits is just writing down things that I believe I need to do on a daily basis to level up. I call them my non-negotiables. You've probably heard me say this multiple times if you listen to my podcasts or the previous Cigars and Espresso chat. But you have to write down things that you know will benefit you in the long run. So for me, that's boxing, cardio, working out, eating healthy, reading, writing, spending time with my family, working on my business, so on and so forth. So things that are going to bring positive results to your life. I am not one to tell someone how to live their life. I am one to say, this is what works for me. Try it, adjust it, and see if it works in your life as well. Because everyone is so different. And that is something that I'm experiencing and understanding more and more every single day. And that is, everyone is so different. So different. And I am not one to put things on anyone. I'm one to try and lead by example. And that's what I'm always trying to do by doing these podcasts, doing these little chats, is I want to lead by example, because the way I am living life and will continue to live life is a way I believe that will make someone feel really good. And feeling is super important. If you're a reader, go on Amazon, whatever your ordering platform is, and look up Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. That book explains essentially what I'm saying here, and that is, feeling is very important. So if you feel like shit, if you feel crappy about yourself and about life and about the world every single day, life is going to ultimately reflect that feeling. So if you feel crappy, life is going to be crappy. But if you feel good about yourself, you feel healthy, you feel smart, you feel strong, you feel charismatic, life is going to reflect that, and life is going to feel absolutely energetic, because your feeling is a massive part of your vibration. I don't want to go too deep into this. Maybe I'll have a chat about vibration specifically, but your feeling makes up about 80% of your vibration. A way to better put it is, how you feel makes up about 80% of your vibration. As some of you may know, is that the world is vibrating. We just cannot see it. Our eyes cannot perceive anything. This chair I'm sitting on, this coffee mug here, it is all atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons in these atoms that are spinning and vibrating at practically light speed, makes it seem solid. So knowing that the world is vibration and understanding that means that you are vibration also. And vibration is a very key point that everyone who wants to become successful and enjoy their life and become something great, you need to understand that. You need to understand that if I am vibration and my mind is something that can manipulate my own vibration, then I have to look into this. I have to master it. I have to understand it. I have to pursue mastering my vibration. And that's what I am practicing and will always practice and have practiced for years, is mastering the vibration within myself. Your mind is powerful. It is very powerful. And I want everyone listening to understand how powerful it truly is. Now the mind, it is the thing that you perceive and experience life through. So, knowing and understanding that you can master your mind means that you can master your reality, essentially, right? So, if everything that is occurring in your life, everything you're experiencing must go through your eyes, ears, ultimately into your mind is going to absorb all this. And the way your mind reacts as a human, the only thing you can truly control is how you act and how you react. So if you can choose how your mind reacts and acts in life, I feel like you get ultimate control. And something I do want to say is, your life is not truly yours if you care what other people think. Think about that for a second. And I'll explain why I say that. So your life is your own, but you're giving it away to others if you care what they think so much that it enables your actions to influence their thoughts on your life, if that was a good way to put it. If you let others' thoughts and feelings and ways they view about you or what they say about you to others impact the way that you act, then you're not living for yourself. It is not your life, it is theirs. So Don't do that. It is not worth it. Be yourself. Master your energy. You know what? I am going to touch on energy and vibration a lot in this because it actually does play into playing the long game quite a bit. So, energy, vibration. It's very important, as I have said and will continue to constantly say. It is what makes up this world, this realm that we are experiencing. So why not try and master it? Like I said, everything is full of atoms. These atoms are vibrating at light speed, which makes everything seem so solid and so real. But going past that, it's vibration. It can be manipulated, Honey and bees, they say, and I believe they've done lots of research on this, and the vibration and the sound frequency that the bee's wings put out is a very healing thing. And that's why honey is very, very healthy. You could store honey for hundreds of years, and as long as it's airtight, ultimately nothing is going to affect the quality of that honey because it is so pure from the vibration, right? So if you can be, let's say, a jar of honey, and you can master your vibration, you're going to be pure, you're going to succeed, you're going to stand the test of time. So a couple things that can help raise your vibration are you have to feel good about yourself, first of all. What are you doing when you first wake up? What are you thinking about? How are you acting, right? How are you reacting? Maybe you go on your phone in the morning and you react to some text messages or TikToks, Instagrams, DMs, whatever it may be. You have to understand what you are doing in the vibration level of it. Let's say there's a vibration hierarchy, right? So down here we have a lower vibration, up here we have a higher vibration. Where are you on this, right? And you might not know exactly if you haven't experienced high vibe, low vibe, so on and so forth. If your actions feel like they're low vibration, see, feeling is a secret. You will know. You will truly know if you're acting to the fullest of your potential or at the highest energy you possibly can be. You will know. So I assume if you're watching this, you'll be clicking in your head, hey, you know what? I could be doing better. I could be at a higher vibration because I can feel it. I can feel I'm not being the most or the best I could possibly be, right? So back to what I was saying, and a couple actions that you can take is take time in the morning, 10, 15 minutes to go, on a walk. Don't dive right into your day, lean into it. Shia LaBeouf said this. He says, the first 10, 15, 30, maybe an hour of his day, he said he takes the time to lean into his day, to ease into it, to give time to himself, to get his vibration on the right level, to set the tone for the day. It is like not missing a workout on a Monday or absolutely killing your Monday is because that will set the tone, the vibration for the week. Tone is another word for vibration. When you take that toning or that tuning fork, tone, tune, same thing. That tuning fork that they use for music, it's vibrating. A tone and a tune are different levels of vibration, right? So set the tone for the day in the morning. And simple things could be, like I said, going on a walk. If you have a dog, walk your dog or snuggle your dog. Do things that will raise your vibration level. I might sound crazy, but, go barefoot in the ground, in the grass. Ground. You know what that does? It takes all the negative ion energy out of your body, right? And it's good. It's like a grounding wire. When you're doing electrical, I used to be an electrician. You have your positive, negative, and you have your grounding wire. My mistake if I got any of that wrong, but you have to ground the electricity. You have to ground the energy. Like I said, your energy, your vibrations, you have to ground, right? You have to ground your energy. What that does is it neutralizes you. Then you can set the tone even better, right? So those are two major things that could make a big difference in your morning routine. Or maybe you like to get up and go straight boxing, or maybe go on a run, or maybe read, or maybe write, or maybe plan your day. I like to plan my day the night before. I believe your morning routine starts the night before. That's personally what I believe, and a few other successful individuals that I chat with believe as well. But, there's plenty of things that deep down, everyone knows deep down what is good for your vibration and what is bad. I don't mean to be disrespectful or rip on anyone, but being a loser, that's a little bit of a harsh word, but being a loser nowadays is very easy. You just have to do the things you want to do all the time. And that might not sound terrible, but in the long run, it will be terrible. You will experience that. Being better and standing out amongst the crowd in today's society is much easier than it was back then. And that is simply because everyone is doing what they want to do all the time. They're very complacent. They don't want to do anything they don't want to do. But that is how you set yourself apart. That is how you become an amazing human being. That is how you do things for your family that they would have never thought of. That is how you travel the world. There's plenty of things that cannot be done if you're always doing the things you want to do. You have to sacrifice doing the things you always want to do right now to do them later, right? So you have to give that time up. Let's say I'm 20 and I take the next 10 years of my life until I'm 30 to sacrifice and put the work into the things I don't want to do. There are days where I don't feel like going to the gym, but then ultimately in my mind, I make the switch and I say, you know what? I get to go to the gym. It is a privilege. There are people in the world that don't have a gym. There are people in the world that don't get to experience going to a gym. And that ultimately motivates me and makes me want to go. So just know that you have to wake up every single day and do things you don't want to do, but then you have to flip your mind to, I get to do them and they are bettering myself. Sometimes I think to myself, what if we weren't able to think as critically as we would? Yes, it would be detrimental. Don't get me wrong. It would be to society and humanity. But what if we were just simply just acting like an ape or like a lion, We just act. We never analyze. We never overthink. We never think, I got to go to the gym. Oh, I got to send cold emails. I got to do cold calls. What if we were just like, do, and we weren't able to critically think? Yes, it would be detrimental, but forget that for a second. What if you could tap into that? It's a very tough thing to tap into, but ultimately I believe that every successful person has that switch where they can go, boom, I'm just going to act and I will reflect and think on it later. I feel like that's a very key trait to have if you want to ultimately become super duper successful. It's just having that mode where you just flip it on. You're like, boom, I'm going to become the best version of myself. I don't care if I don't want to do it. You just got to do it, right? If you don't want to go to the gym, or if you don't want to read, or if you don't want to, let's say you are doing door-to-door sales. You don't want to go do door-to-door sales. You can do something you want. Maybe it's watch Netflix or hang out with your girlfriend or whatever it may be. You can do that, but if you do that long enough, you're going to regret that in the future. So just know that I know I'm saying this, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you have to do things you don't want to do. I like to read late at night. If it's midnight or 1 a.m. and the time comes where I'm like, oh, I have to read. Some days I don't want to read, but then, like I said, I have that switch where it's like, I get to read, I get to learn. I have the privilege. I have the luxury of learning. We all have the luxury to become the best version of ourselves. So many people don't. You have to remember that. So many people do not have the luxury of doing any of this. So give yourself the luxury to do that. Flip your mind switch to instead of being like, oh, I have to, oh, it's so detrimental that I have to become a better version of myself. Switch it to I get to. Like, I couldn't see why people wouldn't want to. It is so awesome when you know deep down you are becoming amazing. It's such a good feeling. And that vibration then carries you further and further and further. Like I said, your vibration is everything. So master your vibration ultimately to win life in the long game. If your vibration's low, you're not going to make it very far. You're not going to be very consistent. You're not going to love your life. You have to go through every day actually enjoying. Like I said in the last one, that doesn't mean partying. It doesn't mean drinking. It doesn't mean smoking weed. It doesn't mean doing acid, whatever it may be. It means actually being able to sit, like I am sitting right now, looking at the nature, reflecting on life, and actually sitting here being present and enjoying it. I'm at peace right now. You know, I love life. And I used to not always be like this. I had to change it. I had to change my vibration. And ultimately, it is just as easy to become the best version of yourself and raise your vibration as it is to sacrifice that and lower your vibration and just not become the best version of yourself. It's just as easy each way, right? If you've never really chased the best version of yourself, it may seem hard. But you know, I always like to say, pick your hard. It's going to be super hard to live a life where you're out of shape. You're not happy with how you look. You feel like crap because you're fat. You're not eating healthy, you're eating like crap. You know, these things affect you. That's hard. That's probably more hard than being in shape and staying in shape. But it also is hard to work out and be consistent with eating healthy and do the things you don't want to do to look good and feel good. You know, there's two sides of everything, yin and yang, right? There's being fat, ugly, not enjoying how you feel, eating like crap. I guarantee that feels like garbage. But then there's the other side of it, where it's like you're healthy, you're eating healthy, you're doing healthy things, you're working out. I guarantee 100 times out of 100, who wouldn't want to feel good? Who wouldn't want to feel good all the time? And that is possible. In this day and age, there are a lot of dopamine sucking activities per se. You know, the phone. It can be used to your advantage or it can be used against you. How are you using it? You know, the phone is a giant dopamine sucking device. Catch yourself scrolling or catch yourself using it aimlessly. Those are dopamine sucking activities. And once you stop giving your dopamine away, dopamine is a very precious chemical in the human mind. Once you stop giving it away and you give up that addiction, let's say, you're going to have more energy. You're going to feel better because you're not constantly draining yourself of this chemical that you need. Once you can release dopamine in larger amounts, but much less of the time, it's like storing up this energy field. So I would recommend do a dopamine detox. And most of the time, that means get off technology or delete the apps you spend the most time on. Yes, it may be hard. Your mind might go into, not shock, but into a state of, thinking about, I need to text this person. Oh, but what about this show? Let that go. You know, like I said, as a human, you have the choice to act and to react. So those thoughts, you can react to them. And then from the reaction, you can either act on downloading that app back and watching those shows, or simply not acting at all, or acting in a different manner, you know, directing that energy elsewhere. Energy is everything. I'm going to say that again. Energy is everything. It is in everything, right? So if you can learn to redirect your energy and source it to somewhere else and transmute your energy, do it. If you do not understand that, please go get, I'm going to do another book recommendation, Think and Grow Rich. Please, if you haven't read that, I would highly, highly suggest that. It is a classic. It is a classic. You just go on Amazon. If you go to the bookstore, I guarantee everyone's going to have Think and Grow Rich. There's a chapter. Is it chapter 6? Correct me if I'm wrong. But there is a chapter called Sexual Transmutation. And essentially what it covers is transmuting your sexual desire, your sexual energy. Because as humans, The word is horny. We want to have sex. We want to not drain, but transfer our sexual energy either to another human or whatnot. So, sexual transmutation in that chapter, it talks about instead of going and masturbating or having sex, transmute that energy to going from, oh, I need to have sex, I need to release this energy. No, it's transmute the energy into, I want to work on my business. Oh, I haven't done this today. I'm going to take that energy and shift it to this activity. It's hard to originally do, but once you understand that energy is just a waveform from changing the thought and directing it in a different direction and then acting on that thought, it's really that simple. It's just take the thought, I want to have sex, transmute it to, let's do this, let's read, let's work on a business, let's go to the gym. Transmute that and just simply redirect the thought energy. Imagine you have a mirror, and if the mirror is blacked out, the thought can't bounce, or the reflection of the thought can't bounce off the mirror. That is what you're doing if you're not transmuting. Let's say you wipe that black paint off, and now the thought can bounce off because it can be reflected by the mirror. Just bounce it, reflect it in a direction that you would like it to go, right? So if you haven't hit the gym yet today and that sex drive comes, redirect it. And I don't mean do that all the time. Celibacy is a good thing. Staying away from sex is a good thing, right? Because you have more of that energy to transmute. The highest form of creation a human can do is create another life. So sexual energy is very, very important. And if you can redirect it, that's powerful energy. And what I learned from that chapter is I can redirect or transmute energy other than sex energy as well. I can redirect and transmute any energy I'd like. Like, energy does not disappear. It cannot be, created nor destroyed. It can just be transmuted, right? So if I stomp on the ground, that kinetic energy, it doesn't just disappear, it gets dispersed into the ground. The boards of this deck start vibrating and dispersing it out slowly. So with that in mind, if you stomp and you want to transmute that energy, it's very simple because you have the most powerful thing in the universe right up here, the brain. The human mind is a beautiful thing. And if you are not in control of your mind, you're in deep trouble. And you must be able to control it ultimately on a day-to-day basis. It's hard, but once you stay consistent, it becomes so easy. And this is why people are not succeeding in being consistent, is because they get distracted so often. So often. I hate to see it. Because we're living in a world of just distraction everywhere. Just everywhere. But if you can, and like I said about the dopamine, if you can block that out and just not give energy to those dopamine sucking activities and transmute them into things that matter, like working on yourself, becoming smarter, becoming stronger, becoming healthier, you're in for a treat. But you have to stay consistent. How can you make it to the goals that you want to achieve in the long run if you're not consistent? It's like taking, let's say you do 5 days in a row where you're very consistent, and then you just stop for 2 days on the weekend. You might as well have not done that for 5 days. It's like 5 steps forward and then 6 steps back, because you're going to be even harder on yourself because you're like, shit, I took those days off and I shouldn't have, and you start beating yourself up. But you got to be consistent. Consistency is so key. I always, if some of you follow me on Instagram, I always am posting 1% better. Please read the book. Please read the book 1% Rule by Tommy Baker. It taught me this. And that is just consistently getting 1% better at every area of my life, every single day, regardless. In my last video, I talked about write down a list of things that are non-negotiables to you that you know are going to level up your life. Just write them down and do those every day regardless. Find time for them. They're important. Take out watching Netflix. Take out taking a very long time to eat. Who knows what you invest time into? Only you would know. I can't say. But find time for the things that truly will level up your life. Because if you don't, time's going to pass by either way, right? The world is going to keep spinning, whether you get better or not. And I would much rather become the best version of myself by the end of my life rather than not. Because like I said, time is going to pass either way. So it is up to you to choose. You know, if you're laying on your deathbed and you're asking yourself, did I do the things I want to do? Did I become the man or woman I wanted to become? If the answer is yes, good on you. I'm proud. Your ancestors are proud. Everyone is proud of you. But if the answer is no, I shit the bed, I didn't try hard, it's not going to be a good feeling, right? So just live every single day knowing that you have to get better today. You know, the pressure's on. You know, diamonds are created under pressure. And if you're not creating pressure for yourself, you're making a mistake. There are multiple ways to create pressure. And that is saying, my ancestors that went to war, that are watching me right now, are they going to be proud of the actions I'm taking? Because they put their lives on the line to make sure this bloodline lives. And if your actions are not, if you don't think they're making your ancestors proud, then that's pressure, you know? That's pressure every single day to be like, I gotta make my great grandpa proud, even though you didn't know him. They're watching, you know, and my grandpa, my grandpas, my grandmas, everyone, even my family that is alive, my brothers, my mother, my father, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, make them proud. The pressure is on. You have to put pressure on yourself, or else you're not going to get things done fast, because success likes speed. If you're going slow, it's going to take forever for you to achieve major success. You're not going to be able to do it in this lifetime. Life is short. So put that pressure on, because like I said, pressure creates diamonds. Another way to put pressure on yourself is say, am I better than I was last week? And if not, you should try and be better every single week. And yes, there's going to be weeks where you could have done better. But that's pressure to become better. And I'm not saying pressure is a thing that, because people, you know, they might fold under pressure. They might back off under pressure. They might get nervous under pressure. But you have to learn to become learn to become fearful under pressure. Pressure doesn't scare you. It makes you better, so it should make you excited, right? So please put as much pressure on yourself as possible. And I'm not saying there's good and bad types of stress. Pressure is not I guess it is kind of a type of stress, but it's not a bad type of stress, because it is a stress that's going to make you level up. It's not going to make you lose your hair. Thinking about what other people think is a terrible type of stress. So just make sure you're putting this pressure on yourself and just getting better every single day. Because like this video is about playing the long game, it all comes down to what you do today. If you have 50 years left in your life, I think it's like 290,000 hours. Take it hour by hour. You know, like every hour, ask yourself, am I getting better? Did I do good this hour? If yes, okay, I'm gonna do better this hour. And I know that's a very hard mindset to obtain and live with, but it's achievable. You know, everyone is human. Everyone's got the same 2 legs, 2 arms, same abs, same biceps, triceps, same mind. Everyone is the same, but we're all different in our own ways. And we all have the same ability to achieve the same things. If someone else did it, you can surely do it and more. So don't let yourself down. Don't tell yourself negative things, because it's not worth it. You're more powerful than you ever could imagine. But you have to be the one to find that out and test it. I can sit here and talk all day long, but if you do not put anything to action, you're never going to find out how powerful you are. You have to analyze your power levels. See, you know, how am I feeling today? How powerful am I feeling today? And put action to that power. Transmute that energy. Because ultimately it all comes down to what you do every single day. And I most likely sound like a broken record. But repetition, consistency, doing things consistent, saying things consistently, thinking things consistently, all build up one way or another, whether it's positive or negative. Upward spirals occur, downward spirals occur. There is no median. It's up to you which way you're moving. You know, if you're not learning and growing, you're dying. If a plant is, let's say it sprouts and it just sits there and it's not growing and it's not obtaining any nutrients, it's not getting the water, it's dying. The nutrients and the growth and the water that you give yourself is how hard you work on yourself. You know, plants, they're working hard every single day to suck the nutrients in their roots out of the ground, get as much water as they possibly can, find themselves in the most light they possibly can to survive and become better. Now, I wouldn't let a plant outwork me. They're busting their ass every single day, whether you like it or not. Now you have to do that too, and you will see so much growth. So much growth. And I want to be a positive influence. I want to lead by example, like I said. This isn't me telling people what to do, but it's me informing on things that work for me and I know work for many other people, so why wouldn't they work for anyone else? Like I said, everyone's different, but these are things you can try and maybe tweak them a little bit and add them into your own life. And that's what I want. I want people to experience what it feels like to be great. And I'm not anything great yet, but I'm on the pursuit of greatness, and the journey is what matters, and I feel great. So that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And I want you guys to know as well how it feels to be chasing and becoming the best version of yourself on a daily basis. You won't know until you do it. You will not know until you act on it. And you will not feel it until you feel it from acting. So I hope this chat has come across in a very positive manner for you. I hope you've learned something. And I hope ultimately you leave here with a new bit of knowledge or new bits of knowledge and can take them into your life, apply them, learn from them, and grow from them. Because that is all I want. I want to see the people that truly want to succeed in life, the people that truly want to grow, I want to see them win. I want to see everyone win, but people can't win unless they truly want to win themselves. So if you're listening to this and you know you want to be great, understand that it takes force and power and energy within you. It doesn't take me telling you. Maybe I can influence, maybe I can motivate, but it's up to you at the end of the day. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you so much for your time. It means the world to me, truly, truly. Because time is very valuable. Thank you. Have a great day, guys.